Welcome back. Today we are making delicious steakhouse dinner rolls. Let's get into the ingredient list. You're going to need 4 teaspoons of dry yeast or 2 packets, half cup warm water, 1 teaspoon sugar to activate the yeast, 2 cups scalded milk, cooled down to lukewarm temp, 3 tablespoons of butter melted and slightly cooled, half cup sugar, 6 or 7 cups of bread or all-purpose flour, 2 eggs, 2 teaspoons salt, and then to brush the top of the rolls, you're going to need 3 tablespoons more of butter melted with 1 or 2 tablespoons of honey. To start making the dough, you're going to proof your yeast. This involves starting with the warm water, adding the sugar and the yeast. Stir that well to start the process. If the yeast is good, you're going to see it start turning bubbly after about 5, 10, 15 minutes like you see here in the video. You'll see that those bubbles form and you'll know it's good. If not, you need to discard it and start with fresh yeast. Next, you're going to add the cooled butter, sugar, eggs, salt, and cooled milk and stir this mixture to combine. This recipe calls for up to 7-8 cups of bread flour. I used 6 cups of bread flour. You see I'm using a 2-cup measure there. I add in 4 cups to start, and I use the dough hook and I mix it, scrape down the bowl and mix again. And we're going to add in the last 2 cups of flour. That's 6 cups total. Keep mixing until the dough ball forms on the dough hook. You'll know that it's ready when you see the sides of the mixing bowl come clean like you do in this video. If you don't have a dough ball like you see here in the video, you may just need to add a little more flour until it does eventually pull away from the sides of the bowl. After the dough is ready, you want to turn it out onto a floured work surface and then give it a few extra kneads and then create a dough ball. You can see that spring back test that I'm doing with my fingers. That means you've kneaded the dough enough. It's time to proof the dough. And now we're going to proof the dough. So I have a metal bowl. I spray a little PAM in the bowl and I spray a little bit on top of the dough, cover it, and wait for it to double. It usually takes about an hour. So you see it's going to really double in volume. Punch that dough down and put it back down on your floured work surface because it's time to roll it out. We're going to roll out and cut the rolls. This recipe makes about 24 to 30 rolls. Start by cutting the dough ball into 2 dough balls. Makes it more manageable. This recipe is going to give you about 30 dinner rolls. So we're going to take the first dough ball, roll it out on the floured work surface. I like to form a perfect rectangle, and because my rolling skills aren't perfect, I need to trim that with a knife or with a pizza cutter so I get my rectangle. And then I'm going to cut it by 3 rows of 5 across. That's going to be 15 rolls. And we're going to take each piece, fold it over, and place it on the greased cookie sheet. Now I'm doing the second dough ball. On this one I'm going to freeze, so I'm going to cut these after I roll them out. Then I'm going to put them on a pan, put them in the freezer. Once they're frozen, I'm going to store them in a Ziploc. Bake these rolls on a greased baking sheet in a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes. I take them out of the oven, I brush them down with honey butter like you see here in the video, and then I put them back in the oven for another 5 minutes. If you don't like to do this step, you can skip right to the end. So bake them for 20 minutes and then brush them. But I give them two coatings with the honey butter. Here I'm going in after the second time in the oven, 5 more minutes, and brushing them again. These are really delicious. Your house is gonna smell great. With the second batch, I put those in the freezer to use later on. You just need to let them thaw out a little bit and bake them off like this first tray. Serve these hot out of the oven, and then you can store the leftovers in an airtight container. They're gonna last you 3 to 4 days. I hope you all enjoy this recipe. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. More good recipes to come. Thank you, and come back soon.